What's up, DIY queens? It's your design bestie, Cara Newhart, and this is Make Space.
Hello, and thanks for coming. It's Cara again, and today we have a really fun episode, as we do every week. The TLDR of it is that I'm launching a women's DIY wear line this week, and some people on the internet are big mad about it, which I find very entertaining. We're not really here to get into the intricacies of the trolling, but this is opening up a larger conversation that's super important, and that is, why does it matter what you wear to work in / do DIY projects in? There's lots of angles to this because there's lots of ways this can look. Anything from the everyday person painting a wall in your house all the way up to women in the trades and actual workwear that needs to be like safe and OSHA certified. I think this is a really, really important conversation. The internet does too. That video is like at 1 million views and people have very, very strong opinions. So I thought, in honor of the DIYer line coming out this week, which will be available from the 8th to the 10th, and after that it's gone. I have big dreams to make it a permanent thing, but this is like the first iteration. I will talk more about that and how it came to be at the end, but I first want to dive into just conversations around workwear and why it matters, because I think this is really important. So there's lots of angles, from safety to comfort to practicality to style and aesthetic. And I think just like great home design balances the aesthetics and the function, which we talk about in like every episode on this show, so does clothing and so does workwear. There has to be a balance between how it works and how it looks. And when you get that balance right, like that's great design. So yeah, I think the first angle of this is the context of women's workwear. So this is kind of more about like my job. Like, I'm a woman in the trades. I do work as a contractor. And this is what is attracting, I guess, a lot of the conversation is a lot of men that are contractors are commenting on this line saying like, that's not workwear. But this is important. So I guess this goes back to like when I first started doing projects, right? I was in my sports bra and leggings. I didn't really think anything of what I was wearing. Like, I was just there to share my projects and wearing like what I like to wear every day, which was athleisure, because I had this idea that if I put on the gym outfit, like it'd be easier to go to the gym. I'd have less of an excuse, and it's just comfortable. So 4 years ago, no one was wearing sports bras and leggings to do DIY projects. People were very confused. And I mean, I liked it because it sort of like attracted my audience. Like, it attracted everyday women that like watched me working in a sports bra and building epic things in my house. And it's like, wait, if she's doing it and she looks like that, like she looks like what I'm wearing, then I can do it too. And so there definitely was, as I started noticing like people cared and were interested in that. Like, then it became intentional. It's like, okay, I'm going to dress in a way that shows people, it's more about hold on, back up. So then it became intentional. Like, I'm going to dress in a way that's going to attract the person that I want to help and I want to serve, which is everyday people taking charge of their homes. So I'm going to dress like the everyday girl in athleisure and do projects in that. And so this became really interesting because then I start connecting with all these women that are in the trades as contractors or roofers or drywallers or just friends that are woodworkers. And I started to notice like people that had been here longer had more of the stereotypical like woodworker girl aesthetic. So like flannels, work boots, jeans, like more of the what you normally think of as like workwear. And having conversations around this, I realized like the first wave of women to enter the trades, you had to fit in to be taken seriously. It's like you had to take your looks off the table so that your work was what you were being evaluated on. So you came in with your flannels and your work boots and you dressed frumpy. Like you didn't get to be hot or you didn't get to be feminine because you'd be immediately discounted based on how you look. I have memories of this being 14, going to Lowe's with my dad. And there was one time he made me like change before because he like could not handle like watching me walk around and like men looking at me when I was 14, which is, I mean, so awkward also for a dad, but also just really uncomfortable because I'm still a kid. I had no concept of that. So I was like angry at him for making me change, whatever. But, there was like flannels and frumpy clothes. And I remember that sticking out to me because I did a lot of work with him. If you've been around here a while, you know that he was like a home builder, electrical contractor. And my high school job was like crawling around in the hot attics with him, fishing wire. So I went to the hardware store, to the electrical supply store a lot. And there was definitely intentionality around like me not dressing feminine when I went to those places because of the way I was perceived. And at that time, it wasn't like I need to be taken seriously because I was just a kid. It was like men are going to look at me, and those spaces are male dominated. And so to walk into those spaces, you have to like dumb it down, like or I guess dim yourself. You can't look feminine. You can't look beautiful, like you're going to attract attention. So that I think is like a theme that's been with me for a very long time and was definitely part of like my personal journey into the contractor male dominated space. Okay, so that brings us to like, I'm noticing all these friends that the first wave of women, like when you first start getting women into this field, I guess at that point, there's no workwear for women, right? Because it's a male dominated industry. So there just hadn't been workwear made for women. So you have to buy men's boots in a smaller size to fit. You have to buy Carhartt coveralls. I think slowly these brands start making workwear for women, right? But historically, when they start doing that, they use men's sizes and just make them smaller. Like instead of like every other industry or every other brand type of clothing, women's clothing is made for women. Like it's like, you know, a women's t-shirt versus like a unisex t-shirt is sometimes like fitted and sculpted. And women's clothing, like there's a template for how to make it to fit a stereotypical woman's body. And also, sidebar, when I say women, I mean all women of all kinds. So I don't want this to be a conversation about like gendered clothing, but it is in that there are very strong stereotypes of gender roles in this space. And clothing is the first thing we look at where we make snap judgments about that. So it matters because by changing clothing, we can change the perception of this entire space for everyone. To me, that looks like everyone showing up however they want. If you're a woman who wants to dress in the flannels and the work boots and the serious workwear, like get it. And if you're a woman that wants to show up more traditionally feminine, also okay. So my path in this space is to serve that person that has been had to dim your light or dim your looks to be taken seriously. So I think as part of the second wave of women entering the trades, I'm here to be like, you know what? We don't have to dress a certain way to be taken seriously. We're allowed to wear whatever we want that makes us feel comfortable, that makes us feel fully expressed, that is still like safe within the bounds of function and safety. And the conversation should not be about our clothing. It should be about our work. So that is my main like mission in doing this line, and seeing the mixed feelings, both like so many women standing up and saying like, oh my gosh, finally. It's like, finally we have something that's like made for us. It's the first iteration. It's the rough draft. It's not going to be perfect. My dream is to expand this line all the way. So we'll see where it goes, but it's a good start. And it's equally as interesting to see people very triggered by this. Like the fact that there's leggings that are made to work in. People are losing their minds. And on the surface, I find that very entertaining because I'm just like, it doesn't matter. But deeper, like, it does matter because this is like threatening to some people in the sense that they think things should be a certain way. They think gender roles should be a certain way. They think a contractor should look a certain way. And so by putting out floral leggings, I'm challenging that in a way that people are really uncomfortable with, which I love. I love making people uncomfortable for the right reasons when it comes to you're uncomfortable because you're expanding your worldview and you're being forced to consider something in a different way. Okay, so yeah, we totally sidetracked there, but basically women's workwear historically has just been men's patterns made smaller. There's been nothing designed for women, certainly nothing designed with an aesthetic point of view in mind. Like workwear has been inherently functional, like it just needs to work. And as you know, my brand of design is it can work and it can also be beautiful at the very same time. Like we don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And in fact, if we're doing it right, those should be in balance. So that's like the mission of what I'm trying to do with this workwear line. So for context, there's leggings with like big pockets on each side. They have a loop in back, so your tool belt can go through a belt loop in the back. There's a big like strap on the side. You can put tools in it like your hammer or your measuring tape. I like to use it for my work gloves. When I take them off to eat a snack, I put them like in this little loop. So that's the leggings. And then there's sports bras and like tanks, and there's fitted tanks and a t-shirt. And they all have like these loops on the side shoulder for like your safety glasses or your pen, just like a little loop. And then there's more pieces coming out in the fall that I can't tell you about. So sneak peek, yes, there's going to be more, but they are very much in development. So this is the first iteration. And I just was like going through like, what are the small things that I would want to make it easier to do projects and feel comfortable? And it was that the leggings always fall down with the tool belt. So I put a loop so it could hold it up. I never have enough pockets. I like want one for my phone. And also the other side has like two. So it's just really simple things. And then I want them to be like fun. So they're like fun colors. There's floral. And I'm calling it a DIY wear collection because it's not yet like full-blown workwear in the sense of like it's OSHA certified and like flame retardant. Like we're not there yet. Although I hope to be there. But it's just perpetually fascinating to me that what we wear has such a big impact, and it matters because it's the first thing we see. And I think it also has, with workwear, there's such a strong connotation between what you're wearing and what you're capable of. The best example of this is like the new guy on the job. If your tool belt is too clean, the joke is that like you're new here because your tool belt is too clean. You haven't had it long enough to be experienced enough, and it would be messier because you don't really replace your tool belt that often. It just gets dirty. So that's another fun thing on the internet that everyone is always telling me is that my tool belt is too clean. Meanwhile, I just keep it clean. Like it's clean because I use it like every single day, but it doesn't get messy for me. I guess I just work cleaner than some people are used to. So that's one example. I think there's been this ongoing, like there's running jokes around what you're wearing and what it means about your work in the construction industry. And as someone that grew up around this and knows what it's like to walk onto a job site as a girl and have everyone freeze in their tracks and look at you like, what's happening? What is she doing here? Like stepping out in even a bolder way with floral work pants is amusing to me. Like I find that very fun. And it's like, if I can really go for it and be like way out there and way bold with floral work pants, then I'm just making it all that easier for the everyday woman that wants to wear normal clothes to show up, you know? Like, so if that's my work, then I'm happy, more than happy to do it. But it's just interesting seeing this conversation. And there's a lot of valid points on both sides in that, like, workwear needs to be safe. Like there's some people that were struggling to see leggings be valid workwear because like if you spill chemicals on them, there's certain instances where your pants need to be loose, or if you slide by something sharp, like maybe jeans would give you more protection. Some of that stuff is valid, and by no means am I saying these specific leggings are made for like heavy duty, full blown construction, if that's your everyday. But it's made for, I don't know, like just, I guess the everyday person, but also like someone that's teetering on that professional area. It just reminds me of how like we as women, there's like so many fun memes about us getting so excited when there's like actual pockets in things. Like half the time we get these like fake pockets just for aesthetics that don't actually work. And even if we do get pockets, they're not as deep as those in men's jeans and not as functional. And so I just think it's really interesting that gendered clothing has had a history of men's clothing being functional first and women's clothing being aesthetic first. And then it's like the reverse of that is the afterthought. Like a lot of men's fashion is just the same kind of clothing. Like if you look in the average guy's closet, there's not a lot of variety. I mean, there's definitely exceptions to that. There's like people that are very into fashion. There is a wide range available, but the average person doesn't have like as wide of a range of different types and styles of pieces as women's gendered clothing does, where it's almost like aesthetic first and then function. So yeah, that's just super interesting. But the point of all of this, I think, is that it matters what you wear, because it matters that you're able to have something that's functional, like pockets if you need them, or a tool belt loop, or whatever it is. It matters that you're comfortable and able to feel like fully expressed as yourself. So the goal in clothing of any kind is that you have the function you need and you get to like dress yourself for who you are. And the fact that in workwear, there's just not that many options because it is such a function first type of clothing, is something that I'm specifically passionate about changing. I think it matters. And certainly having a daughter, like watching her get to see this line come together and be so excited to like have her own pieces. It's just so interesting to me because it's like she's never going to experience like me taking her to Home Depot and being like, you need to go put on a frumpy shirt so like men don't look at you. Like, because I'm the one marching around Home Depot in the outfit where everyone's like, what is happening? But I want that to change. Like I want it to be normal, you know, and it feels small. And I know that it's not an issue for every person. I know that some people, it's like, I don't experience that when I go to the hardware store. And that's awesome. Like, that's just one less thing you have to deal with. But for me, it's like an everyday occurrence. Every time I walk in, no matter what I'm wearing, I can be unshowered in a messy bun and work boots, and people will still come up to me asking me if I need help. And not employees that are there to help, like people confused about me being a girl in the store asking if I need help. That is just something that's happened to me every single time I go for the past 4 years. And so my mission is to make that normal. So I guess if I go enough times, it will be, but we'll see. But yeah, in having a daughter, I just want it to be normal that your clothing can be expressive of what you want to look like and how you want to present yourself and be functional. And especially in the construction industry and the contractor industry, it should be about your work and not about what you're wearing. Certainly, your clothing matters when it comes to safety. And certainly there are boundaries around what you need to operate safely. But once that's covered, like what you choose to wear should be your own choice. So that's the issue I'm tackling currently with the workwear line. it's really, really cool. I got to partner with the coolest people on the planet to bring this to life. My favorite part about it is that it's actually all like reused fabric. So they get fabric from like big athleisure companies where they've done collections and they have all this leftover fabric that's too small for like the Lululemons of the world to make like a whole new piece from. But it's big enough to do like a cool capsule collection. So instead of that going to a landfill, it's all made out of that. So it's saving fabric from landfills, reducing waste, and that's really special. So the pieces are all a little bit different, like they're different colors, but also each fabric is slightly different. Like the gray leggings are definitely have more like, I guess they're like, it's like a tighter knit versus like the pink is a little bit looser fabric, like it has more stretch in it. And so that's been really cool to see that we're like actually able to make new clothes that are not wasteful. Like we're not sourcing brand new fabric. We're using stuff, saving it from the landfill. All the bags are biodegradable, which is awesome. And all the tags, this is like my favorite part, but all of the tags, you can actually plant them and they grow flowers. So that's just another really fun thing, which I think is also really special. And then the print is like a floral print, but it's actually based off of the print that's on the cover of the journal. It's done a little bit different in like coral and brighter colors, but it's that same print, which I thought was really special. But yes, the mission here is that the everyday person can have workwear, DIY wear to do your projects in that's functional, that also looks cute, like you can wear it out, and that we're starting to change women's workwear. Like it needs a change. Like it needs workwear made for women by women instead of just like, oh, well, we'll just make the men's patterns smaller. Which is great if like you want to wear that style, but it shouldn't be the only options. Like there should be options, and especially sustainable options, which is even more special. So that's the mission of this. And yeah, I know that everyone's going to have a different relationship with this. Like if you're a contractor, the way you're thinking about this and the way you're choosing workwear is going to be very different than the everyday person. But that's on purpose. Like you need different things in those different roles because you have skill sets that are different and you're tackling different projects. So this might not work for everyone. Like if you're a welder, I don't know that I would recommend these leggings because the weld splatter might melt them. So obviously buy what you need for the job, but it's also interesting to me to see that this is extending so much further beyond DIY. Like the most surprising part is all the dog trainers that are like so excited about these because I guess there's not like good pants for dog trainers out there. Everyone's so excited because you can put like treats in the pockets. You can put like gloves or a leash in the back, like tool belt loop, because it's not like tiny loops. It's like a big, like kind of pocket thing. And then on the side, the little loop, you can put like poop bags or a leash, or I don't really know specifically how they plan on using it, but everyone seems very, very excited. So it feels like I am tapping into a vein of something that is like a deep thing for many women, which is that, well, I guess here it is. So when women started going to work instead of staying home, we just went to work, and instead of like there being clothes for us, like the first wave of women in factories were in like dresses. And so the clothes of it being functional and made for us are always an afterthought. It's like we have to step into the work first and prove we deserve to be there. And then we can have an outfit that's made for us instead of the other way around. Like, here's the right tool for the job now that you're going to be working. But I think across the board, that's been the case in a lot of industries. I think of like the financial industry or corporate, like women, you had like suits, like blazers and jackets. And I think of people in the 80s, the first like big push of women entering a corporate workforce where it became normal, wearing something that was based off of the male version of workwear in that industry. And so it's just interesting that this is like a recurring theme across all industries is like you have to show up and you have to look the part. And then once you prove you deserve to be here, you're allowed to have what you want or need to fill the role. So yeah, I would like to change that by making this readily available so you can buy the leggings and then tackle your first project if that's the order you want to do it in. Yeah, this is like an ongoing conversation. I by no means feel like I have touched the depth of nuance that there is when it comes to workwear, gendered clothing, and the cultural significance of choosing what you work in. I'm not fully qualified, honestly, to fully discuss it, but I think that's kind of my perspective. That's my like hope in launching this. And I would love to hear what you guys think. If you have feedback or a fun fact about workwear or something that I totally missed or got wrong, I would love to hear that because it's just so interesting. And also there's not a lot of like research on this. It's very niche, women's workwear. So there's not a lot of like ongoing research on like the cultural implications or why things are the way they are. So yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, feedback, fun facts. You can DM me on Instagram. And then if you're listening to this between August 8th and 10th, the line is available so you can go shop it. And I hope that it will be ongoing. Right now it's just one drop and we see where it goes because this is all like grassroots bootstrapping, seeing the response and how it goes. So if this is something you're excited about seeing more of, yeah, I would love if you snag a piece and support the project. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening. And if you've got more episodes to catch up on, binge on. Don't let me stop you. But if you've got a second, you should come say hi on Insta at MakeSpacePod. And if you're an overachiever, you can also leave a review and I'll love you forever. If you're new here, hit that follow button to officially become a DIY queen and join all the amazing humans tuning in every week.